Hello, welcome to this update for the tropics, spots of the Eastern Pacific, and also the Atlantic. So we have this storm forming now, spots of the Eastern Pacific. So it's already a 90% chance next 2 days. Offshore Central America, southeastern Mexico, showers and thunderstorms associated with a broad area of low pressure located offshore the coast of Central America become little better organized this morning. Environmental conditions appear conducive for the development of the system, and a tropical depression is likely to form next day or so, while it moves west-northwestward near the coast of El Salvador, Guatemala, and southeastern Mexico. Interested in this location should monitor the progress of the system. Regardless of the event, areas of heavy rain are likely across parts of Central America, southeastern Mexico during the next few days. So stay safe in those areas. This will most likely form into a storm, but uh, even before it forms, there those heavy rains there should be careful. So please be aware those areas. There's now here the European model, it does show it starts to form there and does show it getting to tropical storm strength and here in southeastern Mexico by Thursday, June 19th. So today's already Monday. So this goes into Mexico there and just dissipates. For now, no chance of it forming in the Gulf because it goes too further inland and doesn't go into the Gulf. But this is a big concern for Mexico. So let's see. There's the GFS forms are there. The GFS is ridiculously strong, so don't pay attention on that. But it does weaken to 996 tropical storm before landfall. So stay safe in those areas. This goes and like goes into Mexico and doesn't form anything else. The GFS still wants some rogue stuff in the Gulf later, or even in the Eastern Pacific. And long range is trying to do stuff near Cuba, but you know how the GFS is, so let's not focus on that now. But be aware in those areas. There's the Canadian model, shows like those storms there. It forms. The Canadian is not too strong. It's just like strong tropical depression to tropical storm into southeastern Mexico, and then it goes that heavy rain continuing there. And later it does try to form a thing or two in the Eastern Pacific. So there's the icon as well shows those areas. This goes and it does form this into a tropical storm and goes right into southeastern Mexico. So stay safe in those areas because most models are showing this system heading towards your direction. So there's the Neptune just to see it as well. It does form a storm there and goes sort of into the west coast of Mexico there. So stay safe. And there's like the European AI as well. That's interesting. It forms a storm, hits like the same locations there. So be careful. Those areas will keep watching. Here's the current information. There's a lot of convection and heavy rain already with this in some areas. So especially in the Pacific. So this goes, there's the GFS on symbols. It does show it goes like to 993 millibars. A few ones are stronger, some others are weaker, but the journey goes to southeastern Mexico there. There's like the hurricane models plus some global models, most of them go into southern Mexico, right in that region. So spots to the west coast or further south into the southeastern coast, this area. So please be careful. There are some rogue models showing to category 2, but I don't trust that at all. There's just the ships and other ones showing to category 1. But those waters there are some of the warmest waters in the Eastern Pacific. They're like to 31 degrees Celsius, the surface temperature. So if this takes advantage and there's no wind shear, it could strengthen very fast. But for now, we don't have any major indications of that happening. But be aware, mainly tropical storm strength. There's the Canadian too. It goes a little bit further north, but also the southeastern coast, and the Canadian slightly weaker in those areas. So stay safe. Now, just curious if there are any hurricane models that have a forecast for this. So this is the H-Wharf. It does form there to like a tropical storm, 991 millibars, but it does strengthen this to a hurricane. The H-Wharf is going all the way to category 2. So I don't think this will happen, but I've seen some cases in the past where it did, and it was strong. So my initial forecast would just say this is a tropical storm, but if it takes advantage of those waters, it could something like this could happen. So we'll keep watching, but most indications just a tropical storm. There's the HEFS A that gets to 988 millibars. That's like strong tropical storm, 988, but still yes, stronger than most other models, except the GFS that's stronger. There's the HEFS B as well, shows this goes like, and the half speed is insanely wild. It goes to 959 millibars and 972 before landfall, and it's way further south. So the half speed might be exaggerating a little bit. But regardless of its strength, it will bring some very dangerous flooding in those areas. So here's the rainfall accumulation from the Canadian model first. It does show some areas of southern Mexico, close to 200 to 300 millimeters in some areas, especially like those southeastern areas. Those yellows might be even to like 400 millimeters plus on the Canadian model. So this could cause some very dangerous flooding, especially like because the white is 100, the black is like above 200, so the yellow close to 300 millimeters. And along the eastern coast of Mexico, might see some significant flooding as well. So please be careful in those areas. The European model does have it here, those areas to like some 280 millimeters, spots to 257 to 263. So this would already cause some very dangerous flooding. So please stay safe in those areas. Be careful. There's more spots into southern and eastern Mexico, 258, more to 148 millimeters, more spots on the west coast, more than 100 millimeters as well. So please stay safe. There's the GFS. The GFS is one area in eastern Mexico and the area in southeast, in southern Mexico, in the coast, like southwestern Mexico, yeah, because this is the west coast. So sorry if I said southeastern before, but this is the west coast. The GFS has more than 300 millimeters, some spots of southern Mexico where it might make landfall, even to 333, 341. So please stay safe, especially like landslides is a very big threat. Mudslides and landslides and like flash flooding. So please warn others in those areas. I'll say it in Spanish in a moment. And please warn others. There's like more spots. The icon to 321 millimeters near Salina Cruz, and more spots in southern Mexico. So please stay safe in those areas. Be careful. And Eastern Mexico, spots of Western Mexico too, but in Eastern Mexico might get very drenched as well. The icons is all the way to 260 millimeters, spots of Eastern Mexico. In the Gulf, the Europeans more than 100 to like 124, 138. So please be careful those spots near the Gulf as well. So warn others and like please stay safe. Let's say it in Spanish now. Hola, ¿qué tal? Entonces, está en esta tormenta que está se formando en el Pacífico, que puede llegar a México este próximo jueves, día 19 de junio. Entonces, muestra que se forma esta tormenta tropical en el Pacífico y va a llegar a estas zonas del sur de México, en el Pacífico, cerca de Puerto Escondido, Salina Cruz e outras zonas assim. Quizás no va a ser tan al norte como Acapulco, pero más probable que sea cerca de Puerto Escondido, un poco más al norte, o un poco más al sur. Así, entonces, este modelo muestra un poco más al sur, entre Salina Cruz y Puerto Escondido, con lluvias muy fuertes día 19 y habrá como día 18 bastante lluvia también. Entonces, muestra día 19 estas lluvias muy fuertes y viento fuerte. Y esto puede hacer deslizamientos de tierra y inundaciones peligrosas. Y al mismo tiempo, unas zonas en el Pacífico y en el Golfo va a haber lluvias muy fuertes en el Golfo y en el Pacífico durante el día 20 y día 21 y hasta 22 y 23. Entonces, precauciones con estas lluvias fuertes. Y hay algunos modelos que están más fuertes, casi así un huracán. La mayoría de modelos tienen tormenta tropical, pero hay algunos que tienen un poco más fuerte. Entonces, este otro tiene el jueves que llega a México, cerca de Puerto Escondido y otras zonas con viento y lluvia muy fuerte. Entonces, precauciones en estas zonas. Y este otro modelo tiene una tormenta tropical, así que va llegando el miércoles, pero principalmente el jueves, que tiene una tormenta muy fuerte entre Puerto Escondido y Salina Cruz, justo al medio, sí. Entonces, día 19 y día 20 se va, así. Entonces, muchísimas precauciones con las lluvias fuertes y hay un modelo aquí que muestra más de 300 milímetros en el sur de México, en estas zonas, como 300 y algo, en el Golfo más de 100, 200 y en el Pacífico más de 100. Entonces, muchísimas precauciones con estas lluvias que van a ser muy fuertes, así. Y hay un otro modelo aquí, muestra unos 300 milímetros, 305, y esto puede ser unas inundaciones muy graves. Precauciones con inundaciones, deslizamientos de tierra y más peligros, así. Y no conducir en inundaciones, quedarse en casa, en un sitio seguro y lejos del agua, así, en lugares más altos, pero lejos de deslizamientos de tierra también. Entonces, precauciones en estas zonas. Y hay este otro modelo que tiene 268, otras zonas sur de México 262, más zonas de 240 esta zona. Y en el Golfo, más de 100, así 145, 122 y otras zonas de 169 en el Pacífico. Entonces, muchas precauciones en estas zonas y avisar más gente que va a pasar esto. Las ráfagas de viento aún no se puede saber exactamente porque se está formando así ahora. Entonces lo sabremos mejor después que se forme en una tormenta tropical. Pero miremos aquí algunos modelos para tener una idea. Y hay este que muestra como unas ráfagas más fuertes, casi 89 kilómetros por hora en algunas zonas, 83 así, pero quizás sea más fuerte que esto y se va. Pero hay este que tiene un huracán más fuerte y llega cerca así, muestra casi como 87 kilómetros por hora y quizás más fuerte, porque siempre es más fuerte que esto. Entonces, y hay este otro que tiene unas zonas de más de 134 kilómetros por hora, que ya sería muy peligroso. Unas otras zonas de 112. Entonces, eh, esto va a cambiar mucho aún, pero solo para que sabéis que va a haber viento muy fuerte y peligroso así. Entonces, precauciones en estas zonas y más lluvia fuerte en Nicaragua, Belice, más zonas de América Central, esta lluvia fuerte. Entonces, también precauciones en estas zonas. Good. So stay safe in those areas and be careful. When this turns into a tropical storm, they already have advisories and everything, and we'll take a look closer. But now, be careful to those heavy rains in Central America as well, because I don't know what just happened here. Good. So it shows still next 5 days spots of Nicaragua to Honduras, more than 114 millimeters. Some more spots in Honduras to 106. So be careful next 5 days. Some flooding, especially in Belize. Many models are showing this central coastal Belize more than 100 millimeters next 5 days. The icons is even to like 200 millimeters in Belize, 196 to like 222. So stay safe, northern Guatemala as well. And the GFS is scared all over the place, but it does have more than 80 millimeters in Belize. But be careful, some flooding there too. Spots in Nicaragua, so 186 millimeters in Honduras. More in El Salvador, more than 100. So stay safe. The European slightly less in El Salvador, but it does have some heavy on showers as well. So be careful in those areas. Does show in Cubas, some passing showers, an afternoon storm or two in Hispaniola, and more spots there. Especially like in the Eastern Caribbean, those tropical waves are trying to get spicy, but still not that spicy. So it does show in Trinidad and Tobago some 66 millimeters next 5 days, and next 9 days to 105 in Trinidad and Tobago. So later we might have slightly heavier moisture in the southeastern Caribbean, but that shows St. Lucia, Dominica, more spots in St. Vincent and Grenadines, some passing showers, and a few thunderstorms in Barbados as well. So be aware, some wind towards side of the islands might be slightly stronger, but nothing too crazy. There's like those passing showers and a few thunderstorms a few days, especially Thursday, a few areas Friday, further into Venezuela, into Trinidad and Tobago. So be aware, a few spots in Cuba and Florida too, but now there's like a lot of moisture, Central America, those storms. So be careful in those areas. There's like the satellite does show in the Pacific especially, but there's some stronger storms near Central America. And there's one right now in the Dominican Republic too, so be careful. Sometimes those afternoon storms in eastern Cuba, a few tiny ones, and a few showers in Jamaica as well. So be aware in those areas. And next 10 days, the show will eventually get heavier in Central America and Mexico. So still shows next 10 days, more than 300 millimeters, many spots there. But 10 days is a long time, so don't worry too much. But just the rain coming this week will already be a big portion of it. So stay safe with flooding in those areas too. The Atlantic is still quiet, so there's this dominant high pressure further north, and the intertropical convergence zone has a few tweaks, some tropical waves, but nothing expected yet. The Gulf, there are few members trying to slice something to the Gulf, the European, but that's like barely no support. And the southeastern, southwestern Caribbean has its own things, but nothing expected to form just yet. There's the GFS with members scattered all over the place, especially in the Eastern Pacific, with some high support on the system forming there now. But does show slightly more support in the Gulf, the GFS, the southwestern Gulf, but that's like just light blue. That's like tropical depression or even weaker. So most likely we won't get anything there, but just better good to watch. In those areas in Central America with heavy rain, might be from some weak low pressures, but none of them will develop. So keep watching. There's the tropical storm probabilities. Let's just put tropical cyclones first. So it does show nearly 100% chance of tropical depression. The Eastern Pacific, this goes kind of some 30% chance in the southwestern Gulf, but then it weakens. So this goes, and there are always these probabilities lingering in the southwestern Caribbean, but they never really form. So this goes and shows the Eastern Atlantic as well, some slight probabilities, but it's likely from those tropical waves that they won't do much. So this goes Friday and still by June 28th, spots in the Eastern Pacific to watch, but these areas in the Atlantic, it's too low of a chance. But we'll keep watching for the future. But right now, don't worry if you are in the Atlantic. Just worry about these heavy rains in Mexico and tropical storm. So here there's still slightly gustier winds in a few spots, the Caribbean. So, especially Central Caribbean, maybe small craft advisories in a few locations. Into the Yucatan, Wednesday, slightly more wind, and still South Central Caribbean might influence the waves as well. But by like Saturday, still shows, and next week, the Eastern Caribbean still. So be aware of those winds. And there's this gigantic heat dome building across North America, especially Mexico and the US. So we talked a lot in the US video. So if you are there, check the severe weather video that has the heat wave. But we didn't talk Mexico there. So that shows some very high temperatures across northern Mexico, in those areas in Celsius. So that show a few spots to 44 degrees this afternoon northern Mexico, even to 43, 44, more spots to 41 degrees. So please stay safe in those areas. That's a pretty decent heat risk, like major to extreme. So be careful in those areas there. Northeastern Mexico to like 38 degrees, 39, close to 40. So please stay safe. In the Yucatan too, slightly hotter, and even spots in the Gulf, in the Caribbean, slightly hotter. And there's here in the Eastern Pacific the leftover circulation from tropical storm Delilah that's now gone, it vanished. But does show during the night slightly less in the mountains, like slightly colder, but not really colder, but slightly like some 9 degrees in the high elevations and a few spots there. So Tuesday, this goes Tuesday afternoon, very hot again. Northeastern Mexico, spots to 40 degrees, more spots northwestern Mexico, even to like close to 45, some 44. So please stay safe in those areas further. Wednesday afternoon, northeastern Mexico shows some maximal temperatures to 42, 41, a few spots to 43, and still close to 44 in the northwestern Mexico. So stay safe in those areas. Let's see. Temperaturas muy altas al norte de México. Entonces, precauciones. Norte de México, cerca del Pacífico, como cerca de California y estas zonas, más de 44 grados, norte de la Baja, y otras zonas de 43, así, cerca del Pacífico, pero más al este, así, cerca de Texas, muy cálido también, más de 41 grados essa semana, casi 43 em algumas zonas. Precauções com a calor e tomar muita água e estar mais fora do sol, assim, precauções con la calor. Y otra vez, el jueves, día 19, muestra más de 44 grados, casi 45, así, unas zonas en el norte y oeste, así, unos 45 grados, 43 en más zonas, muchísimas precauciones y más zonas de 43. Y jueves, viernes, aún bastante cálido y un poco menos en las montañas por la noche. Y es esto, pero precauciones y también en estas zonas del norte está muy seco así. Y, y esto puede ser un peligro de incendio más grande así. Entonces, precauciones con algunos días de peligro de incendio o tormentas secas así. So stay safe in those areas, the heat wave too. So be aware this goes and pretty warm in the Yucatan, close to 36 degrees, spots in Cuba more than 30. So be aware those areas too. So stay safe. We'll keep watching, but especially be careful the storm in Mexico there.